Hi, Jim Hudson here. We're going to talk about the TCX53 tire changer. Now this tire changer has a great suite of features to service just about every wheel and tire that comes into your shop. So we'll go over some basic operation procedures and then some more advanced procedures on a couple more different and challenging assemblies. So we'll start out here with this more basic tire and wheel. I'll go ahead and break my beads. That's obviously the first thing I'm going to need to do. I've got a three-way adjustable side shovel here to match any size wheel and tire, and coupled with the best-in-class power as well. So even those really tough beads, I'm going to be able to break those beads and use this power out here to do it with almost no effort. Now another great feature I like about the 53 is the fact that I can preset my tabletop here. I can preset my jaws for the size of wheel I have. I happen to know I have an 18-inch wheel, and I can bring my jaws in to right where I need them to be. So I'm not guessing, and when I go to clamp, I know that I'm going to be clamping right against the outside of that wheel where I need to, where I can get the most jaw protection or the most wheel protection externally clamped. I have a cheat sheet here on my TPMS for my TPMS position, so I'll kind of start tracking that at this point, making sure I don't break a sensor. That sheet's very, very handy as just a reminder to where to position that for each stage of the process. D-mount's pretty standard here. Got a nice large knob on that head to help that tire roll up where it needs to be off that wheel. Again, I'll set my TPMS position here. Bring my head back in. Now my mount head has a great wing here on the back. It basically keeps the tire tracking right where it needs to track for bottom bead and top bead mount. So as an operator, I don't have to worry about holding that tire into the drop center. That wing's going to keep it feeding into the drop center. So head doesn't get stuck in the wheel and releases cleanly. I can go ahead and inflate. I'm externally clamped, so I can go ahead and inflate while clamped. Once I'm done there, I unclamp, and I'm done. Right, let's talk about a more advanced wheel and tire assembly here. This is a 35 series aspect ratio on a run flat tire. So this is a stiff sidewall, low profile tire, but I have all the tools I need to change this tire on this machine, and I'll show you how. So of course I need to start breaking the beads. Really like having that power out adjustability and that three-way position adjustability to get that angle just right on this wheel. I got a high-dollar wheel here. I don't want to damage it. All right. So I happen to know I've got a 20-inch wheel this time, so I'll preset my jaws here for 20 inches. Now, one of the things you'll notice on some of these tires that have a very aggressive rim guard and very stiff sidewalls, they're difficult to push down onto the clamp. So I, of course, want to externally clamp in this case. I have like I said, a high-dollar alloy wheel. So I have a cone here that I can actually use to press that tire down, or that wheel, I should say, press it down onto the clamp. So I, as an operator, I don't have to struggle to do that. I got a device here that'll help me do that. And since I preset my jaws, I know exactly where they're going to end up. I know I'm going to be able to clamp externally without scratching that wheel at all. So what I can also do, especially on those tough tires, is to pre-lube that top bead before you go to demount. And I can actually use the bead press for that as well. I can unlock this roller here and let it spin freely. When I bring that roller down toward the edge, I can push that tire down, spin clockwise, and actually pre-lube this top bead. Now this bead press locks on center. So when I'm done with it, I can just press this unlock button and get it out of my way. I got a little bit of a gap over here where I need it to be to get my head inserted. But what I might do, again on this really stiff sidewall, is use my bead press again to help make a little bit of a gap to get my lever in. This is the most versatile tool on a tire changer right here is this bead press. I reposition my TPMS just a little bit. Right, and one thing you'll also want to notice is that the tires is kind of mounted up here all the way around. So I can't pull that bead up and over the head with this tire mounted up. So again, I'll use my bead press to push that tire down into the drop center where it needs to be so I can go ahead and demount this tire, this top bead. So once I have that feeding into the drop center, I can go ahead and get it out of the way and pull my bead up and over. All right, again, I'll be mindful of my TPMS position here. To go to mount my bottom bead. Now the most important thing to remember on top bead mount is keeping that top bead in the drop center all the way around as you're rotating. So I've got extra assist devices here that I'll employ to make sure that that's happening. In this case, I got a fixed arm actually that I can place that'll actually hold its position right to the right of the mount head. So this entire bead press arm actually locks on the center of the wheel. And this arm here is free to rotate, and this one is of course fixed to help keep that over-under condition, keep that tire feeding into the drop center where it needs to be. And as I'm coming around, I might need to relax up just a little bit, press down a little bit, and just make sure that I got that tire feeding in the drop center all the way around. So at this point, I'm ready to go ahead and release. That head doesn't get stuck in the wheel, and I can go ahead and inflate. Right, so let's talk about a slightly different challenge here. So this is a big truck wheel and tire. What makes this challenging is just the size and weight of this assembly. But again, we got some assist devices here on the machine. They're going to help us deal with this tire. It's going to make it actually pretty darn easy to change. So, but of course we need to start with bead braking. So I'll come on over, I'll break my beads. Got plenty of power in that side shovel. I don't have to worry about these big truck beads getting stuck. And I want to be mindful of my TPMS position as always during any bead braking operation. I'll preset my jaws here. I happen to know this is another 18-inch wheel, so I'll preset those so that I can clamp again externally for the maximum amount of wheel protection. Clock my TPMS. Now, the size and weight of this tire makes it a little bit difficult. So what I need to do is keep the opposite end of the bead here, the bottom bead in the drop center where I'm going to lever this over on the other end. But it's so large and it's such a heavy tire that I'm going to deploy my lower disc here to lift that bead up into position. So I can also use this to re-brake a bottom bead if my bottom bead tends to want to keep seated. I can re-brake with this disc. But like I said, in this case, I'm going to go and use it to lift. So I'll just kind of place it here, keep that bottom bead up in the drop center for me so I don't have to be in two places at one time. I can get my lever dropped into place here. Now once I'm done, I can go ahead and get it out of the way. Go and continue on with my bottom bead demount. I'm going to clock my TPMS again. Something you always kind of have to be mindful of is where that TPMS is located. Again, I have a nice decal here right on the swing arm that lets me know in case I forget. I'll pull this bead up over so that it's tracking up underneath this wing. So that wing keeps that, maintains that over-under condition across that mount head. All right, so the next challenge here really isn't too much of a challenge, but it's just inflation. I'm going to need to use some blast inflation here to get this tire to take air. I have 4 powerful blast nozzles here in the jaws already adjusted from my clamp that I'll go ahead and use to inflate. Blast inflation is the second stage of this pedal. As you can see, I went ahead and got the beads seated up, sealed up. I'll continue to inflate a little bit and let them seat. Of course, if you have to exceed 40 psi to seat the beads, that needs to be done in a safety cage. In this case, it doesn't look like I need to. So just like that, I got this big heavy tire and wheel changed by using some of these additional press devices and assistances on the TCX53. All right, as you can see here, we've used the range of features on the TCX53 to service everything from standard passenger car tires, high-performance passenger car tires, and all the way up to large truck and SUV tires. The TCX53 has the tools to make them all easy, and I hope you all get the best out of your tire changers using this video. Thank you all for watching.